The Brian Gould Show features content from the internet and current events throughout the world. All photos, videos, names, and other content is for entertainment purposes only. Please don't fall asleep. It's rude.
Oh, the things that I find to amuse me in my downtime. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to a new edition of the Brian Gould Show. Brand new episode here. Just wanted to get a few things off my chest. Got a couple friends of mine going through a few hurdles in life, and that's what life throws at you, is hurdles left and right. A lot of it's out of control. You can't control it. And I won't voice out or disclose the one person's name in particular. They know who they are. Basically, we figured out you got to stop asking why are certain things happening to me. Instead, we figured out that you got to ask a different question. Ask the right questions. Not why is it happening to me? What can I do to overcome it? These different series of events. It's life. Roads aren't always straight. They're not always narrow. They're windy, twisty, loose gravel, so on and so forth. But you gotta ask yourself, what can I do to overcome it, and what can I do to better my situation? Not why is it happening. It's happening because it's life. And that's all there is to it. I'm trying to speak vaguely because I really don't want to, again, air out who it is or their business. But like I said, we basically diagnosed it as, you got to start asking yourself the right questions. And running from problems, we all know, doesn't get you anywhere. Whether you pack up, move across town, across state, or across the country, you're gonna have the same problem, just in a different location. If you're jobless, you're gonna be jobless in the new spot. If you're without a companion, you're gonna be without that companion or companionship in the new spot. Now, granted, with time in a different place, you could more than likely, change that. But don't run from it. Just take it head on. You want to be successful. And whatever it is that you want to do, you can't hope and wish that you are. You just have to start doing it. You want a successful business, start treating your business like a business. If you want to have a successful amount of money in your bank account, analyze your spending habits and change them. Not why am I broke, where am I spending my money is the better question. I'm without a job, I can't find one. Well, not why am I without a job, where do I need to look to replace my job? You get the point, catch the drift. But it's sad where a couple of my buddies are at right now, and one's rebounding back a little bit, and the other one, he's just hit the wall. And it's taken everything I have not to just grab them by the hand and just pull them through and say, okay, let me do this for you. Like, you got to figure this out. At a certain point, there's just almost too much help, too much coaching, too much parenting, too much whatever you want to call it, to where you become a dependent savior, which, that's what friends are for, and that's what family's for. You don't ever turn your back on them. But you also got to realize that they need to realize that they have to start doing things on their own and figuring stuff out. So, again, speaking vaguely, I been hearing some ups and downs from a couple people lately, and if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, it's not me trying to bury you or throw you under the rug or anything like that. It just you got a lot a lot of work to do, and always a phone call away, but you have to do the work, and work's a 4-letter word, so bust your hump doing so and you'll be fine. Getting on to a little bit less intense subject matter. New study just came out from uprocks, uprocks.com. Millennials. I love talking about my millennials. American millennials in this new study are the most useless population on Earth. You heard me. American millennials are the most useless population on Earth, according to this new study. Now, they based it on a few different categories and compared it to 22 other countries, this test. And it was ran by the ETS, Educational Testing Service. They looked at specifically like skill sets, abilities, literacy, math, and problem solving and technology. Just reading this, you'll find it on my website. Go to briangouldShow.com. You'll see it in my Twitter feed, and it's pretty impressive. Millennials, if you're born in the late 80s, early 90s, basically, if you're 30 or younger, you suck. Just to put it bluntly, you guys scored lower than 22 other countries in multiple categories, ranking you the most useless group on the planet. I get it. A lot of millennials don't know how to type, except on their cell phones. They can't cook, except with a microwave or fast food or some type of restaurant. It's an interesting read. Go check it out. It's something to ponder as we move forward with our new president. Not to go back off onto that again, but it's interesting because the millennials, and specifically female and Hispanic group, all voted mainly for Hillary, and Trump got in. And I think why that is because the older generation offset the millennials, the Latin group, and the women that were voting for Hillary because that was the trendy thing to do. And a lot of things are trendy now, whether it's Snapchat, Instagram, MySpace. MySpace is not really around anymore, Facebook, whatever. Whatever new one's out, trendy, that's going to get bought up and scooped up from the next one. Trendy things are just like the cornerstone of what millennials do. This study says that more or less you guys are dumb. And that kind of goes back to my first conversation. What do you got to do? What do you have to ask yourself to get out from underneath this big black cloud? I mean, if you're 30 or younger, 30 to 22 range, let's say, you're considered the most useless group on the planet. It's all about social status, social networking, social this, social that, how you look, the selfies. Everyone's doing it now. Yes, I get it. But there's more to life than that. And as this new president steps into office, we're going to find, I have a feeling we're going to find out more and more how dumb that age range really is. And I hate to keep saying that, but it's true. You can't put a filter on that. There's no Snapchat dog filter to put on that and say, oh, look at me, I'm not so dumb anymore. Well, no, you're cute, but you're still dumb. Things got to change, and with the new president, things will change. The economy hasn't been any better than it has been the last 12 days since Trump got elected in, and proof of that is with the stock market. It's up crazy. Got a businessman in office, and he's starting his job pretty soon. Can't wait to see it happen. But it's kind of funny that that certain people are boycotting this and rioting and everything else, but protesting, whatever. You got a guy that knows what he's doing business-wise, and he's going to bankrupt the country. The country's already bankrupt, people. That's why we have a national debt. Can't make it any worse. All you can do is throw a few more bills on top of that to add to it. No one's ever going to get rid of that debt unless all the debtors write it off for us, and that's not going to happen. So, millennials, you got a lot of work to do. You're my favorite topic to talk about besides Trump, and I get to talk about both of them in the same podcast here. Kind of funny. So, to my friends that are going through their hard times, chin up. Everything will be all right. You'll get through it. You always do. Always will. Saw an interesting episode of The Walking Dead. I finally finished season 6. Even after the mid-season finale, I kicked off the new season last night. Watched the first episode. Man, that's intense. And if you've never watched The Walking Dead, really good series. I won't ruin it for you, but the first couple seasons were my favorite. The season with the governor, didn't really care for it too much, but I pushed through it. I actually stopped watching it because of that season, and then I want to say beginning of this year, I actually started that season over and picked it back up and watched it all the way through and got current. So glad that I did that. That season ended very, very well, but season 6 pretty intense, and now the new season 7. Wow. The first episode very, very intense. Go check that out. You definitely would like it. Wrestling fans, WrestleMania tickets came out today. If you forgot, go scoop them up as quick as you can. All the good seats are already gone. Those sell out first. I put in a bid for some decent tickets, I want to say Thursday, and used the promo code Showcase, and all the good seats are already gone. So between now and WrestleMania, you'll be able to get your hands on some pretty decent tickets, but for the most part, all the good seats are gone. Be pretty cool to see, because that this WrestleMania 33 is going to be in Orlando, so it's kind of in my backyard, about an hour and 30 minute drive from where I'm at here in Sarasota. Be my 4th WrestleMania, and my oldest daughter, Mia, pretty excited to go again. It's going to be her 3rd, and just recalling my first WrestleMania, that was the WrestleMania 24, I believe it was, Ric Flair's last match, and that was a really cool experience. It was cold, though, really, really cold. It started lightly raining that night, too, so it made it even colder. But if you're a wrestling fan, WrestleMania tickets are available. Where to get them, Ticketmaster, WWE.com, either or, doesn't matter. Want to give a quick shout out to my boys, Evan and Jay from 444 Radio. I spoke with Jay yesterday briefly through messaging that they plan on getting things rolling as early as next week. Not in the old studio, but they've got an agreement lined up with a new studio. Can't really get into details about it because I don't have details. My sports segment is still on hiatus for now. I thought about doing it separate from my podcast, trying to keep it going, but with everything that I've got going on, it's just a little bit of a juggle, just one extra thing to cycle through as I'm spinning things through the air, and I'd have to more or less just knock that down to 1 day a week and pretty much talk about the week that was and whatever's hot right then and there, but we'll see how that goes. I've been able to free up a little bit of time in the mornings, so I might be able to swing 1, maybe 2 days a week. I certainly can't do 5. That's not my not my schedule budget right now. But speaking of sports, Justin Verlander did get snubbed for the Cy Young. Detroit Tigers pitcher. Kind of stinks, but you know what? There's next season. I'm not going to cry about it. Michigan boy, true blue and through, and there's always next season. Tigers fell a little short for making the playoffs, but that's okay. We'll we'll take a shot at it next year. McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Man, McGregor is totally calling out Mayweather again, saying he'll fight him for $100 million. Now, if I got offered $100 million to fight Floyd Mayweather, or Conor McGregor, I'd take him up on it. I know I'd get my face pounded in and probably knocked out inside the first 10 seconds, but Mayweather has been quoted saying he won't come out of retirement to fight anybody. He's done unless the money was absolutely right, because he's a businessman. Now, you got to treat this as a business decision. What if, and I'm just saying, what if Floyd Mayweather goes into a fight with Conor McGregor and McGregor catches him with a lucky punch and knocks him out? What does that do to the sport of boxing in the eyes of MMA? It makes it an absolute laughing stock sport. That's what that does. Now, realistically, both being professionals, Floyd knows where to hit, how to hit, and how many times to hit on an individual's head to knock them out. Now, obviously, this wouldn't be a MMA match. It's a boxing match, and McGregor's okay with that. He's down for lost the mic there for a second. Sorry. McGregor's down for boxing, and it would be an interesting fight. I'd like to see it. If Floyd went in there and went most of the first round before he knocked out McGregor, and would I be shocked? No, it's to be expected. But again, what if McGregor catches Floyd with that one lucky punch and knocks him out? I think that dethrones boxing's credibility as a combat sport. It sounds crazy. You can't erase history of boxing. I'm a firm believer in the history of a particular entity, whether it be a sport, a title, team, or athlete or person of some sort. But right now, to see boxing get dethroned and stripped of its combat sport status would be detrimental to everyone that is in that sport right now, and that has been relevant at least for the last 15 years or so, because the talk's always been there. Who's the better fighter, the boxer or the MMA guy? James Toney jumped in the octagon and he got handled by Randy Couture. A boxer got beat by an MMA guy. Love to see the fight. I won't keep going on about it, but it's definitely something I'd like to see. In closing, once again, on the Trump horn, he wants to get rid of the illegals that are breaking laws and that are here illegally, whether it be from down south or overseas. And I'm for it. I understand it. I just read something earlier today that most of the colleges in the United States, most of them, have some form of illegal person on their campus right now. And why is that such a big deal? Well, they're getting an education that someone else isn't, and they're not supposed to be here. Now, granted, they may not be creating or acting upon us violently in a crime form, but I'm definitely in supporting of the going through the right process to be here the right way. Now, there's gray areas. Your parents came over, they had you, which technically makes you an American citizen, but they're not legal and they get deported. Now you're legal. Gray area there. According to the Constitution, if you're born on the land, you're an American citizen. I get it. That's a slippery slope. I don't want to get into that, but you know who loses realistically, who loses out once all this stuff gets addressed, is the Native Americans. They don't have issues. You don't hear of any problems. They have their land, they have their casinos, they have their police. Our government can't go in and tell them what to do. It's a no-no zone. And to be quite honest with you, they'll be damned to let illegals jump in and be part of this country, because it's already been done to them once before. So they won't let that happen again. But maybe we need to take a page out of their book. And it sounds weird, but as American citizens, segregate ourselves from the people that aren't supposed to be here. Technically, we're not supposed to be here either, but that's a deal worked out with the Native Americans. They've got something there. And maybe if we could get a couple of them in office, not in office, start picking their brains and seeing how they do things, maybe we could add more peace. Financial stability, that'll work itself out eventually. I do believe that. But the peace, and it seems like people have been more on edge over the last several weeks, maybe even a couple months now, between the time change, the election, the weather change. It all affects us in one way or another, and then whatever else you've got going on personally in life. Seems like people have been on edge unnecessarily. And take a deep breath, people. You're going through some stuff, it'll work out. Start asking yourself the right questions. What do I got to do to fix this? Not why is it happening to me? It's life. And that never changes. Well, guys, a little bit more serious episode here. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you go over to my website, briangouldshow.com. All the stuff you need to know, what I'm doing throughout the day, and all the what I feel is important news gets reported there, tweeted out, and there's some links there. You can click on those and read some good stories. I try to pick out at least the decent ones, but sometimes there's a couple of snoozers. Obviously, don't click on those, but hit the like button, subscribe, pass it on to your friends. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Brian Gould. This is The Brian Gould Show. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.